If I ruled the world, I would make peace in the Middle East and get a peace and have a feast. I'm tired of living in apathy. It's time to leave vain philosophy. It's time to live like the kings we ought to be. The kingdom of God is the kingdom of mind. The kingdom of mind is the secret to life. Hey, how's it going? So the power of the mind is something that's often not understood as it should be, because the mind is so powerful that it's so mind-blowing how the subconscious mind triggers the existence of life. The first thing that happened was the sentence that said, "Let there be life, let there be light." And this gave us the power of the mind, which is our consciousness. So this is awareness of everything, the roots of life, the fruit of life. This is knowledge. Let there be light. This is the mind, right? Because the mind, the brain knows. So the power of the mind cannot be underestimated by any stretch of the imagination, because the mind is everything. Everything that happens to me is not actually happening to like me. It's happening to my mind, my my memory. This is the real me. My memories that are in my soul, that are in my heart, in my mind, because the heart is the mind. A baby is born with the heart beating in the mind. So the heart is the mind. Guard your heart is to guard your mind. So the power of the mind is the power of the heart. So the power of the heart cannot be misunderstood, because everything is governed by the heart. So guard your heart with all diligence. From there off spring all of the issues of life. So when you have a mind that is fortified or that is powerful, it means that you are guarding your mind. But when your heart is feeling heavy, it means that something has intruded in your heart. So to guard your heart is to guard your mind, which is to have a way of looking at things, which is to have the perspective of life, right? Because the whole perspective of life is that life was created as a paradise. This paradise was created in this place, right? This place, this punt paradise, right? So this place, right, was this paradise where people had a paradigm of having the awareness of God, which is the Havilah. This is paradise. This is to have the awareness of God. This is to have the light, to having life, Havilah, having breath. So in this place, this is where the mind had its own awareness of life, and it had its own paradise, it had its own paradigm, it had its own parallels, the parables. So when you read the parables, this is what you're looking at, the paradise, which is from how the world is, that heaven came to earth, or there is a breath from heaven come to earth. And this has come in a way that has caused so many different types of misunderstandings to the mind, to the confusions in how love is, what truth is. But all is love, because all is the breath of life, all is truth, right? Because everything that comes from the heart is what gives us life, and the life is the breath. So what comes from the heart is the same as what comes from the earth. The earth gives us the breath from the trees. The lungs literally look like trees, don't they? So the heart is Heart. The earth is the H in the heart taken to the end, which is the heart, the earth. So the earth gives us breath, just as the heart gives us breath. So what gives your mind breath are the ideas. These are the things that you actually give breath to, give life to. So the ideas are important. Like when you have an idea, you should be able to leave an idea. You should be able to be flexible. This is the power of the mind. This is the true power of the mind that people are not actually aware of. That to have the power of the mind is to have the system of change. Like your mind has to be attuned to being able to change, to be flexible, because your mind has gray matter, which is just water. So on this water is where the Spirit of God is hovering. This is where the wisdom is hovering, because the Spirit of God is wisdom. This is the breath of God that hovered over the water. So your mind is just made up of this water. Like your whole body is water. Your mind is water. So in this precious water, this is where all of your processes are happening in your mind and in your heart, because your heart is your mind. So your heart is like the seed, the mind is the fruit, because this is where the heart or the earth is. So everything is on the earth, but everything grows like the tree. So these are the roots. So as you see, like a tree will have roots that mirror the actual tree. The roots actually go in the same shape as the actual tree going up. Okay, because this is the heart and this is the mind, the fruit, right? Because it's about the seed and then it's about the fruit. So the seed is the heart, the seed is the earth. So how you do things is so important. How you put your energy into everything that you do, like do everything as if you're doing it unto God. So have that attitude, have that seed, and you'll see the fruit that you bear, because that seed is in the heart, because the heart carries you. The heart is the earth. The heart is what we understand in Bantu to be tsika, what you step on. This is the earth, tsika zevanu. Tsika is your feet, your plants, your planters. This is the way that you step when you approach people. This is part of Ubuntu. This is Hunu. This is understanding how to tread, how to trade. Because Bantu people were supreme traders. Like they were the merchants who used to travel in these ships. Like if you look at the sultans in the islands of Zanzibar, these sultans are like a succession of people who were seafaring people who used to go to different lands, to different places. And this even went as far down to places like the island of Mozambique. So even these people in Kilwa had other cities that they were controlling as far as Madagascar. So these people actually, these Swahili speaking people. Swahili is a language of commerce. Yeah, so Swahili were merchants and they used to always communicate with that Swahili language in terms of commerce. And this is how they actually conducted trade with different countries, even as far as China. So these were their abilities, and this is just some of the things that they did. They built cities, they went to different places, and they actually conquered different lands. And they had their own ideas of life and through this. But the important thing is just to realize that the power of the mind can be harnessed in a good way and in a bad way, because sometimes even the people who had done these things didn't have the belief or the understanding that they're actually capable of doing certain things that their forebears did, because they didn't have the knowledge, because they didn't have the mind to. So having the mind is to have the information, is to have the ability, is to have the potency, is to have the potential. So potency is when you have potential, and to be potent is to be powerful. Potency is power. So this power is actually just potential. So having this potential information in you is to have power, is to have potency, because knowledge is power. So when you're looking for this power of the mind, what you're looking for truly is actually the heart, because the heart is where it's all at. This is the earth. So in the earth we have the heart of the earth, which is the wisdom of the earth. And what we actually see is that something somewhere was put in a certain place within the earth in order for something to happen. So that sounds so cryptic, but there were certain things that were hidden in this world. There are a certain group of people that God called the hidden people. these people were hidden, and it is said that there was a conspiracy among other people that they wanted to cut these people off, and then they wanted to say that these people are not a nation. So what was happening is that the wisdom of God is such that it is exposing the lie in order to expose the counsel. So it is actually giving a certain awareness, so that a certain it is actually giving a certain negative, so that the positive can be evident, because this is true wisdom. So when you're reading verses that are so cryptic that Paul is writing in Corinthians, saying that he has made the wisdom of the world foolish, this is to understand that those people who are wise are now considered to be fools, and those people who are fools are now considered to be wise. So this is actually what it's talking about when it's speaking about God using the things that are low in this world to bring down the things that are high in this world, because it's all a matter of the mind and the perspective. So the people who used to think a certain way about a certain people have had the revelation, because a certain thing was hidden in a certain place. So in this psalm, when God is speaking about certain people that are hidden, that are being cut off, that have all of these things happening to them, it means that God put something somewhere. All right, so it was put somewhere so that people can actually find it, because it is the glory of God to hide things. It is the glory of kings to reveal things. So if it was put somewhere, it is for us to find it. Okay, so when you look in the archives of the world in the internet, right, if you actually search for certain things, they're actually lost. There's certain things that are lost, and one of the things that are lost is within the actual garden, right, which is the seed of mankind, the cradle of mankind, where everyone comes from. There was a certain situation that was going on there, and in this land, this was the place that was called having Havilah, like having the Lord, having the love, having the light, having the life, having the breath. And through this, we actually see all of the things that happen within this world coming from this area that was called the Garden of Eden. And through this, the people spreads to all of the other countries in the world. So there's a place that is actually lost, and if you look for something called like the land of Punt, it's actually a lost land. So it means that God put it somewhere. So why is it lost, but why is it actually there? So there's so many different explanations for it, and so many plausible cases. And the important thing to realize is that this land is the earth. It's part of the earth. The earth is always the heart. It never changes from being the heart. So when people lose a land, when people lose the earth, when they say that they can't find it, it's because it's lost in the heart. It is lost in the heart because the heart is the earth. So finding your way back to a certain place is finding your way back to your heart. This is finding your way back to your potential. The heart is the root, is the seed, and the mind is the tree, is the fruit. So you have the fruit, you have the root, you have the tree, you have the seed. So this is knowing the heart and the mind. This is knowing your soul and your body and your spirit and your mind. So this is knowing your heart and everything that is within it. So when this land was put forth, when it was destroyed, like when it was forgotten about, it was still there, because what is happening is that certain things were hidden because a certain people were being hidden, like, and these people, this person was put in a certain place that was hidden. So where it is hid was actually in this person called put, because everything that was spoken is a seed. The sower plants the seed. So a seed was put. The word was put. So God's commandment, his only commandment is what? Be fruitful and multiply. So the seed was put, the word was put. And put is where this land is, which is called Punt, which is the same land which is called Havilah. So more and more, like when you look for this land of put, where it was put, you'd see that what you're actually looking for is Havilah. And Havilah is actually the sons of Cush as well. So when you look at the table of nations, the children of Abraham are Isaac and then Jacob, and then the children of Noah are Ham, and the children of Ham are where we find Put, and from Put we have Punt, and from Punt we have this kingdom that was lost. So this kingdom of Punt is from the son of Ham, who is called Put, Funt. So this person was put somewhere. So what is peculiar about this is that the seed was planted, but this person is the only one who was not recorded or whose fruit was hidden. This is how you understand when the cherubim hides the tree of life, because the seed from the garden was hidden. And this is the first breath that was given, which is Havilah. So this is the understanding of this land. This land is the breath of God. This land is the breath of God. The breath of God is speaking. So when God speaks, it's a seed. So when this seed has been put in this earth, it has to bring forth fruit. So the fruit is put. The fruit is punt. The fruit is forgotten. So this is the fruit of this land that they say is the land of God, because this was the seat of the people who were put in the earth. These were the people who were hidden. So from this hiddenness, this is the revelation of the things that have happened to what God has put in his garden, right? What has happened to it? These are the talents being revealed. This is the account. This is Abraham, right? What has happened to the things that were put in the earth? So this is how the meek inherit the earth, because the meek inherit the knowledge of the earth, the heart, the land, which is the soil, which is the sand, which is the sand, which is the sun. So something was put in this earth, and what was put is actually the heart of God, right? Because everyone is created in the image of God. So when it's actually saying there is a certain people, the word for put is actually punt, right? Punt is bunt. This P is the B. The D is the B, like bdellium, right? So this place is actually this land that punt is put in Havilah, to have life, to have breath, in heaven's village, heaven's villa. This is what was protected by God through information. So this is how he makes the wise, who are wise in their own eyes, know that they are not wise. He makes the wisdom foolish, because when you understand what these people have done in conspiracy, this is when you understand their counsel, then you understand the potential. So this is when you get the power, the potent power. This is when you understand the power of your mind, the power of the mind that is being hidden from you, the power of the mind that was put in you. So this was put somewhere within you, and then you have to access that. You have to find the breath of life. You have to find the earth, the heart, the way to it. So this is understanding that put was put in this land, and put became punt. Punt is bunt. Put is just people. The people is actually what's called Bantu, because all of the languages were one at some point, right? So the punt is the bunt, which is the piece, the person. The person put, like the breath of God. The Havilah is the breath of God that makes every person a punt. It makes every person a breath, makes every person. So God puts Havilah in you, and then this is the land of punt, when it puts the Havilah, the heavenly breath. So this is when the man became a living being. This is the soul, heart, mind, body. This is the soil, the earth, the air, and the wind. These are all of the elements. So to understand this land of put is to know that certain things were put and it was hidden, so that the truth can be exposed in the light by those who can actually see the sight. Because this land is the land of heaven on earth. This is heaven's village. And through this we have our understanding of what the world is around us. This is how the weak are foolish and the foolish are weak. because everything was turned upside down. So when you actually understand that everything was turned upside down, you understand what is actually the delusion that God has sent as a deep sleep to the people, so that they will see but they won't see, they will hear but they won't hear. This is the delusion that was put through the breath of God. So understand this and live with true love, because how you actually live is in accordance to your potential power, what you know, your potency. So when you know this potent information, it's very important that you use it. To whom much is given, right? So when you have this potential, you have to use it. This is your strength, and this is Havilah. This is the heavenly breath, and through your breath you will get so many results. Through the fruit of the mouth a man is rewarded. So through the fruit of your mouth your belly shall be full. Okay, Psalm 83 reads saying, "Keep not thou silence, O God, hold not thy peace, be not still, O God, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate me have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent, they have confederated against thee." So understanding this is actually putting the perspective in what God is saying, that even though these people have created this crafty counsel, what they're doing is actually known of God, and everything that is happening is with his understanding and through the judgment of the earth. So this is actually the meaning of judgment. When a person judges, it means that they are considering. And when you have true judgment, what you're doing is you're weighing everything, and through this you're looking for the truth. So the meek will inherit the earth, which means the meek will govern the earth. To govern is to judge. So everyone who lives has to actually govern the earth, because we know that when Jesus came, he was speaking of the prince of this world, according to him being the king of this world. So through this, he was telling us to be as gentle as doves, as wise as serpents, which means you should be able to know duality, no life, no death. Through this, you're governing, you're judging, you're weighing, and this is the understanding that is within this verse. So when it's saying that certain things have been hidden, these hidden ones are the people who were put somewhere within the earth, and then they are not seen. And these people, certain people, have crafted and consulted against these hidden ones that God has called his own. And through this, they have said, Come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel, which is his real light, Israel, electricity, may be no more in remembrance. So these people were actually worshipping in spirit and in truth, but they were actually cut off because they didn't want the light, the true light of God, to be remembered. For they have consulted together with one consent. They have confederated against thee. So this is just the thing, like they have been hated without a cause, and this has been a result of people just consulting together with one consent. So this is just speaking about all of the things that we hear about, that certain people want a certain world, that they want to govern it in a certain way. This is what they're talking about, these consent, this one consent, and how they're consulting with each other in different confederations, different organizations all over the world. So thy hidden ones were put somewhere, and the revelation is being revealed to everybody who has ears to hear and eyes to see. So this is the deep delusion that the people of old used to want to see, the people of old were actually subject to. And now we have the chance to actually know the fruit, know the root, and know the actual truth.